sesquicentennial year in 1997, when the wagon trains were coming across. They were at Simpson's Hollow. President Gordon B. Hinckley was there. We had a big program, and if you missed that, you really missed something. Our good friend and cousin from Hawaii came, and he rode his horse up there, right? Yes, sir. And others did. Well, that's an important monument. And the one where he was buried, with the monument we placed there in '92 is important. In that same year, in the little cemetery at Sunset, Arizona, where they lived, and they ate off the big table. And Lot Smith was the state president of the little Colorado state. And if you want a spiritual experience, you want to go to Sunset to that little cemetery and see these graves. And my father has 2 uncles and a sister. So I have an Uncle Wilford Woodruff Smith buried there, Uncle George Albert Smith buried there, and Aunt Rhoda Minerva. And we placed a monument there to tell that story. So we are trying to, and there's a monument down at Marmon Lake where they built the dairy. And this helps us to re-establish ourselves with these great pioneers who have helped to settle and establish the West. Now we're going to learn more about Antelope Island when we go out there. But I want to express my appreciation to you for coming. I know many of you have come a long ways. I hope that before you leave here, you'll get a good look at this bust. And we need to move over and take care of the dedication over there. And then we need to move over to the cemetery and be there at 6 o'clock. Now, how do you get to the cemetery?
Be less quick to anger and show appreciation more. And love the people in their lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? Well, it's important at a time like this to kind of think about that as a living kind of legacy. We can honor our dead by living better, and I think you know that.
Here we are at the monument honoring the horses and the horsemen of Antelope Island. Here outside of the Davis County Sheriff offices in Farmington.
Hey guys.
Great story.
1, 2,
a lot of cousins. Nice picture.
Example Art Smith, and I felt like it was such an impressive program that we thought we'd do part of it over again. Tonight we have Brother Nelson, Ken Nelson, and he is the historian for the lot.
As was mentioned earlier, my name is Ken Nelson. I am the camp historian of the Lot Smith Camp Sons of Union Veterans. In the next 10 or 12 minutes or so, I'm going to recount a little bit of the Civil War service kept. Finally, mail service was suspended along the trail until volunteer troops could take up positions. The Lincoln administration was aware of the need of continued protection along the trail, especially after most of the regular forces had been withdrawn because of the war. While the country back east in 1862 was occupied with the Peninsula Campaign, the campaign to take Richmond, this story is by Lewis A. Huffaker, a private in the Lot Smith Command. I was just 21 when I volunteered at the call of Abraham Lincoln to keep open the line of communication between San Francisco and Omaha. Father was well to do and could furnish equipment for his sons at any time. Therefore, I was always ready to go to protect the people against the Indians. When we were at Fort Bridger, General James Craig with 300 or 400 regulars lay in camp there. Colonel Collins approached Captain Smith one day and said, "Captain Smith, I would like to try a test and see whether you or mine are best adapted to remain here in the West to protect the mail line." Colonel Collins ordered a detachment of his men, double quick, up the side of a mountain and down again. The Eastern soldiers were unacquainted with Western life. They went up and down in great confusion. The Lot Smith man came down in perfect order. We were used to just such places. We gave our Indian ponies the reins, and the horses of themselves avoided the sagebrush and gopher holes. Colonel Collins remarked, "Captain Smith, I would rather have 10 of your men than my whole regiment. We will send the Eastern men to the front." When his men heard that they were to be sent back to the front, a number of them deserted and made their way to the Pacific coast.
So a descendant of Lot Smith dies, and he goes to the other side. And Lot Smith is there to meet him. And he says to him, "So what did you do to honor my name?" And he says, "Well, Lot, you'd be proud. I tried to do the things that you would have done." And he says, "Well, give me an example." And he says, "Okay, well, there was this one time when I came upon a group of guys, big, mean-looking guys with knives and chains, and big tattoos and earrings." And he says, these guys were all circled around here in their trucks, and they were taking advantage of this area. And so I went right up to them and I said, "If you guys don't turn around and get out of here right now, I'm..." Well, that's pretty impressive. I'm proud of that. When did that happen? About 10 minutes ago. We're having this right here at this spot because this is where his body is actually here. Now, we know other, the spirit and so forth, but his body is physically here. And the reason it's here, as you've heard a number of times, is because after 10 years, the powers that be thought it necessary to exhume his body here. And after 108 years and 2 days, you have to wonder, why is it that we get together to honor this and honor this man? I want you to ask yourself that question. I want you to think about the man and think about why it is that we are here. And you can think of all the stories, and if you kids haven't heard enough of them, ask your parents to hear these stories. There's plenty to go around, and you can spend here all day talking about them. But as you think about Lot, and you think about the human aspect of Lot, and the courage aspect of Lot, and all the things that Lot has done, ask yourself, why is it that we get together? I know my father feels like it's to honor not only him, but to honor his wives, who, my father's grandmother, as well as my father's father, who he had a lot of respect for Lot. But I would see it necessary to exhume our bodies and bring it closer to home to show respect for who we were in our lives. And I want to bear that testimony to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Heard that I was late for the other meeting, and I really wanted to be there. Come closer. And that was really
We are at the Lot Smith reunion. It's June 24th, I think. Our kids out here playing volleyball. It's a neat ranch here on Antelope Island.
get home, my companion would say, "Realize what you laughed at?" So now I'll just go, you know, if I don't get it, I'll just go, "Oh, brother."
I'm sorry, Othello. Would you stand up?
We're here at the Locksmith reunion.
Give all of these ladies a hand, would you? They take this.
Beth, are you here at the Locksmith reunion? Yay! Are we playing Mafia over here?
We'll say good, Mike.
Everyone for Micah. Oh, Micah. Oh, it's Micah. You guys are there. It's Micah's time. Everyone for Micah. Micah. It's Micah, you guys. Everyone, come on. It's Micah.
Micah.
Micah, you're dead. There's like a united. Yes, I'm dead.
This is the Locksmith reunion. We're here on Antelope Island.
He's gonna kill me.
Beautiful spot. There's our friend.
Excuse me. Grant Gill, the president, says he would like to see at least it go for 5 times what the cost was. So as you're thinking how this tax deduction donation to the
Hi, sweet baby. Yes. This is Delaney Phyllis. You're so pretty. Yes, here's Sandy and Noreen's fourth girl.